Well, it ain't much to look at, but it was my favorite price. Free 99. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Today we're going to be working on this free Honda quad that I got. It is a 1986 TRX200SX, and I got it from a friend of mine. He had some property east of San Diego. Said he used to use it on his property, and it's just been sitting. I don't remember how long he said, but it hasn't ran in a while, so let's see if we can get her going. I had the battery on a charger overnight, so it is holding a little bit of charge. And this is the way it was delivered to me. There's no air box on it. I do have it. I haven't really looked at it. It's in a cardboard box full of parts, but we do have a neutral light. I don't know if you can see that here. Let me bring you over here. The neutral light's working, and it does crank over, I believe. So I'm going to try a little bit of the old tried and true here. Some carburetor cleaner straight into the carburetor, and see if we can get a little bit of life to it, and then we will progress from there. Okay, I think we have a viable patient here. So first thing we'll do is we will remove that carburetor, and also look at this fuel petcock valve here, because it looks like someone was confused as to how this thing operates. Definitely doesn't have two off positions. So I think there was some confusion from the previous owner as to how that operates, but we'll figure it out. Not too difficult to get her down to this point here. Pull the plastic in the tank off. I took a quick look on eBay. Of course, no one sells new plastics for these anymore, and if you find any plastics on them, they want a pretty good penny for them. These front fenders are in okay shape as far as being complete. This white top piece over the tank, mostly there, and then this little fill panel is pretty well broken up. I saved all the pieces. I don't know if it's going to be worth gluing them together or not. It's just really brittle, and of course it's really faded out. It's supposed to be a nice bright red, even more bright red than underneath here. You can see how pink it is. And we'll try a couple products and see what we can get, but regardless, we've gotten tore down this far, so we'll pull the carburetor off. Not too difficult. Let's get 2 bolts, and we'll pull this slide out of here. We'll have the carburetor out. Looks like we had some insect friends, and then I also noticed, check out here, I'll move the handlebar, a really bad tie rod end right there, and super mushy front brakes. Although we have a little bit of brakes, I put some fluid in here. There was no brakes, and now we have some, so that probably just needs to be bled out. Let's get this carburetor off. We'll take a look. This isn't the worst carburetor I've seen. It's not terrible, but we will clean it up. Lots of sludgy stuff in there. And we'll see if this floats work and all that stuff. So I'll disassemble it, pull all the jets out. We'll clean it up, put her back together, and see what we got. I also removed the fuel petcock valve from the tank. Get it soaking down here. So we'll clean that up. On the bottom of that is a little bowl. So we'll take that bowl off of there, clean that out. There's supposed to be a filter on here, which is stuck inside the tank. So eventually we're going to replace that, but for now we'll just clean it up. Here's where you want to check these things. Yeah, look how awful that looks in there. And who knows what's in there. Gross. So we need to clean that out really well. And then there's that filter that's supposed to be in the tank. You can see it was all stuck in there. I had to twist it out. So we'll need a new one of those, but we'll run without it for now. We're getting the carburetor cleaned up. We'll put it all back together, clean this up, and hook it back up, see what happens. Okay, we got the carburetor back in, fuel tank is in. I drained the old fuel out, put some fresh fuel in it. And you know how this was labeled confusingly? Well, it was stamped right on the fuel petcock valve that reserve is back, off is up, and on is forward. So we have it in reserve right now. Oh, can't hardly beat that. She's a runner. Filter, so it might not be running quite right, but it's not too bad. I'm holding a little bit of throttle on. Bump that up just a touch. Can't quite turn it by hand. There you go. She's running. All right, I bumped the idle up a little bit. Let's see how she works here. And I think I have to do that. Get it in reverse. All right, we got a reverse light. We're moving. We're backing up. Hardly at all. I don't know why. Oh, probably you have the front tires pumped up. Put air in these tires, they probably have way too much air. So, first, second, third, fourth, first gear, fourth, third, second, first gear. It's working. Been running, the idle's up quite a bit, so I could probably turn it back down. And I don't see any headlights. Oh wait, yeah, there they are. High, low, no headlights. But it runs okay. Okay, now that we got her running, I'm gonna order up some parts. I need to order an air filter. I looked and I saw the air box. Looks like the air box is complete, but there's a rotted out air filter in there. I'm also gonna order up a tie rod end, this one over here, and I'll look around and see if there's anything else. It appears to run okay. Like I said, once I get the air box on there and an air filter and we fix this tie rod, we'll go from there. So I'm gonna bleed out the front brakes a little bit, and I'll maybe look at the headlight and see why that's not working, and we'll come back when we get some parts. Parts have arrived at the shop here. Got some new tie rod ends. Two of them were pretty cheap, so I just got two. I'm probably only going to replace the one. Bought a fuel valve, really specifically just for this piece. This one won't work with the little plastic doodad here, but I might install it the entire thing anyway. Maybe it'll be just as easy to reach back here. This thing doesn't seem to line up now. I don't know if I have the tank on a little bit wrong or whatever. We'll see how that works. And also an air filter, which also doesn't look quite right, but we'll see how that works. All right, I got the tie rod end out, and all I'm going to do, I've already loosened the lock nut. I'm just going to turn the tie rod end off and turn the new one up to that lock nut. You can also measure the distance here. Of course, you know, if you're doing this even on a car, you can get it close, but you should align it once you're done. Another thing to check is to make sure that you have the same size set up here, because sometimes the aftermarket ones might be shorter, whatever. But for a quad, you know, alignment is important, but it's not going to be as important as your car. So, and look, you can see this is turning too. I guess that one got loose up there. All right, let me get that installed and we'll move on to the next task. Well, this was a straight pain in the butt here. I knew when I ordered this that it wasn't going to be a direct fit. I was hoping I could make it work by taking this one apart and using parts from this one. But this diameter here is different than the diameter there. But anyway, I was able to cut this filter down. That was also too long to fit in the tank. And I replaced a couple of seals in here. So we're going to install that. I've got the tie rod end installed. After I installed that one, I noticed this upper one was just a little bit loose, and since I had two, I replaced that. So the steering system is now very taut. We'll get this installed, and looking at this air filter system, the stock one has this metal core. I think this is going to just mount right onto there. So I need to oil that up, and we'll get that installed. Put her back together and see what we got. Okay, there's the air filter in there. And it appears it's going to work. Like I said, it's just attaching here. The original one looked like the foam went over that metal insert, and there was a wing nut or something on the back. But I think this is going to work just fine. And we've got our fuel petcock valve in there. That also looks like it's working okay. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this this brake reservoir off of here and see if we can't maybe pull it apart, clean it out inside of there. I might have to order some more parts, but our front brakes are not working at all. The back brakes are okay, but they're not the best either. So maybe a little bit of adjustment back here on these wing nuts to tighten that up. I'll take a look at that. This one looks like it might be maxed out already. So it's a good chance these brake shoes inside of here are probably done for, but we'll do the best we can with what we've got. She ain't a thing of beauty, at least not at this point, but it's all here and it all works. The tie rod definitely helped a lot. Steering isn't all sloppy. Handlebars are pretty bent up. Those will have to get replaced at some point. And what else did I notice? Yeah, the front brakes still not great. I tried to take this apart. Didn't really find any issues in there. Front brakes are drum brakes, so I adjusted them a little bit. Helped a little bit. Fortunately, during that check, I found out there was a missing spacer in this front wheel, so I came up with something for that. The brakes do work though, and the quad runs pretty good. Fires right up. Only issue I have that I haven't figured out on it is it has a little bit of a hanging idle right there. It takes just a couple seconds for it to drop down. All said and done, I got $40 invested into this thing, so that's not too bad. And I think I know someone who could use it. So I believe that this thing is going to be donated to a needy family. Not really needy, but someone who will use it. As it is, I'll just ride it around in the yard, so I don't really need it all that much. But I'm happy with it as is. It could definitely use some beautification, and perhaps we will do that on another episode. But until then, just give me a thumbs up if you're liking this content. Leave some comments down below so that I know that you're watching, and if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.